Did you know that India's influence stretches far beyond its borders, shaping the economies, food supplies, and even the survival of entire nations? From life-saving medicines to massive trade networks, India's role in the global landscape is colossal and growing stronger in 2025. In this video, we're diving into 8 countries that heavily rely on India to thrive, with shocking reasons that'll leave you speechless. Stick around until the end, because the number 1 country will blow your mind. Let's jump in. Starting our list at number 8 is Nepal, India's Himalayan neighbor. Nepal's economy and daily life are deeply intertwined with India, and 2025 has only tightened this bond. Over 60% of Nepal's trade comes from India, including essentials like fuel, food grains, and construction materials. The open border allows millions of Nepalese to work in India, sending back remittances that account for nearly 25% of Nepal's GDP. Without India's support, Nepal's economy would grind to a halt. In 2025, India's $1 billion aid package for Nepal's post-earthquake reconstruction and hydropower projects has further cemented this dependency. Nepal's reliance on Indian ports for global trade and India's electricity exports to power its cities means that any disruption in ties could plunge Nepal into crisis. Shocking, right? Let's move on. At number 7, we have Bhutan, the land of gross national happiness. This tiny nation depends on India for nearly 80% of its imports, from rice and vegetables to machinery and vehicles. India funds over 50% of Bhutan's national budget through grants and loans, especially for hydropower projects, which generate 70% of Bhutan's export revenue. In 2025, India's investment in Bhutan's Punitsangchu hydropower project reached $1.2 billion, ensuring Bhutan's energy security. Without India's financial and infrastructural support, Bhutan's economy would collapse, and its dream of sustainable development would fade. Plus, India provides military training and equipment, safeguarding Bhutan's borders. Imagine Bhutan without India. It's practically unthinkable. Number 6 is Bangladesh, a nation that owes much of its stability to India. India is Bangladesh's largest trading partner, supplying 15% of its imports, including rice, cotton, and electricity. In 2025, India's $500 million credit line for Bangladesh's infrastructure, like the Padma Bridge railway link, has boosted connectivity and trade. India also plays a critical role in Bangladesh's pharmaceutical industry, providing active pharmaceutical ingredients APIs for 80% of its generic drugs. Without India, Bangladesh's healthcare system would face shortages, and its textile industry, which relies on Indian cotton, would falter. The 2025 floods in Bangladesh saw India send 10,000 tons of food aid, proving its role as a lifeline. Without India's support, Bangladesh's economy and food security would be at serious risk. At number 5, Sri Lanka's dependence on India became glaringly evident during its 2022 economic crisis, and 2025 updates show this reliance has only grown. India provided $4 billion in emergency aid to stabilize Sri Lanka's economy, including fuel, food, and medical supplies. India is Sri Lanka's top trading partner, with 20% of its imports, think rice, spices, and pharmaceuticals, coming from India. In 2025, India's $1.5 billion investment in Sri Lanka's renewable energy sector, particularly solar and wind projects, has been a game-changer. Sri Lanka also relies on Indian tourists, who make up 30% of its tourism revenue. Without India's economic and diplomatic support, Sri Lanka's recovery would stall, leaving its people in dire straits. Number 4 is the Maldives, the tropical paradise that leans heavily on India for survival. India supplies 70% of the Maldives' food imports, including staples like rice, wheat, and vegetables. In 2025, India's $800 million credit line for the Maldives' infrastructure projects, like the Greater Mail Connectivity Project, has been vital for economic growth. India also provides critical healthcare support, with Indian doctors and medicines filling gaps in the Maldives' hospitals. The Indian Navy ensures maritime security, protecting the Maldives from piracy and smuggling. Without India, the Maldives' tourism-driven economy would crumble, and its food and healthcare systems would face collapse. The 2025 India-Maldives trade agreement further deepened this dependency, making India indispensable. Coming in at number 3 is Afghanistan, a nation where India's influence is profound despite geopolitical challenges. India supplies 90% of Afghanistan's wheat and rice, critical for a country facing chronic food insecurity. In 2025, India's $100 million humanitarian aid package, including medicines and vaccines, has been a lifeline for Afghanistan's struggling healthcare system. India's investment in infrastructure, like the Salma Dam, powers 20% of Afghanistan's electricity needs. Without India's food and energy support, Afghanistan would face widespread famine and energy shortages. India's soft power, through education and training programs, also shapes Afghanistan's future. The 2025 India-Afghanistan trade corridor via Chabahar port has further tied their fates together. Shocking how one nation can hold such sway, isn't it? At number 2, Mauritius might surprise you. This island nation relies on India for 25% of its trade, including petroleum, pharmaceuticals, and food. India's $700 million investment in Mauritius's metro system and healthcare facilities in 2025 has transformed its infrastructure. Over 60% of Mauritius's population is of Indian descent, creating deep cultural and economic ties. India's IT and financial services support Mauritius's offshore banking sector, which accounts for 15% of its GDP. Without India's investments and expertise, Mauritius's economy would stagnate, and its healthcare system would struggle to meet demand. The 2025 India-Mauritius Free Trade Agreement has made India even more critical to Mauritius's prosperity. The ties here run deeper than you'd think. And now, the number 1 country that can't survive without India, the United Arab Emirates. Yes, you heard that right. The UAE, a global economic powerhouse, relies heavily on India in ways that'll shock you. India is the UAE's second-largest trading partner, with $85 billion in bilateral trade in 2024, and 2025 has seen this soar to $90 billion. Over 3.5 million Indian expatriates live in the UAE, making up 35% of its population and driving its construction, healthcare, and service sectors. Without Indian workers, the UAE skyscrapers, hospitals, and malls would face severe labor shortages. India supplies 20% of the UAE's food imports, including rice, spices, and vegetables. In 2025, India's $2 billion investment in the UAE's renewable energy sector, particularly solar projects, has strengthened their partnership. The UAE also depends on Indian IT professionals for its tech-driven economy. A disruption in India-UAE ties would cripple the UAE's workforce, food security, and economic growth. Mind-blowing, isn't it? There you have it, 8 countries that rely on India for their economic stability, food security, and even survival. From Nepal's trade to the UAE's workforce, India's global influence is undeniable, and 2025 has only amplified its role. Which country's dependency surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more eye-opening content. Share this video to spread the word about India's incredible global impact. See you in the next one.